Hey learners, this is Miss Hudson. Welcome to the Dinosaurs of Waterhouse-Hawkins Comprehension Skill Day 3. We're going to click through a couple questions, first read questions about our story. So if you have not read or listened to the Dinosaurs of Waterhouse-Hawkins on Savas Realizing Your Account, you need to go and listen to the story, please, before we go any further, okay? Our first question comes with the text passage. It said, the Queen's eyes grew wide in surprise. Waterhouse's creatures were extraordinary. How on earth had he made them? So which sentence from above is an opinion? And how do we know what's the clue word? It says, the Queen's eyes grew wide in surprise. Waterhouse's creatures were extraordinary. How on earth had he made them? Oh, I think I see it. If you think it's Waterhouse's creatures were extraordinary, then you're correct. That's definitely an opinion. How did we know? Well, it uses this word extraordinary. And extraordinary is a clue word. It's kind of like beautiful. Things that are extraordinary might not be so extraordinary to you and me as it was back in 1853 where this setting of the story takes place. So our clue word in this case is extraordinary, letting us know that that is the opinion. And so, with the help of scientist Richard Owen, who checked every muscle, bone, and spike, that's exactly what Waterhouse was doing. He wanted to create such perfect models that anyone, a crowd of curious children, England's leading scientists, even the Queen herself, could gaze at his dinosaurs and see into the past. Waterhouse threw open the doors to his workshop. Nervously, he tidied up here and there. His assistants came, then Richard Owen. So why was Waterhouse nervous? Well, if you read the story, you know he has a special visitor coming. Who is the special visitor? That's right, it's here in the text. The Queen herself is the special visitor that he's expecting on this particular day. Is there anything in it that lets us know he's nervous? Well, it says it, doesn't it? It says it right here, nervously. He tidied up here and there. He's got that nervous energy. Tidy means to clean. And so he's nervously picking up and cleaning because he knows that the Queen is coming to visit him today. Designing the creatures was only the first step. There was still the monumental task of building them. So what is this little bitty paragraph about? Designing the creatures was only the first step. There was still the monumental task of building them. Well, it's talking about what he's doing, right? He's creating the models, and it says designing them is the first step, and then we got to build them on top of that. So what is the main idea of this selection? Is it that small models are an important step in building a large model, or is it building models is a lot of work? Which one is the main idea? If you said building models is a lot of work, then that is the correct main idea, right? Now, keep in mind the words building the models is a lot of work isn't in that. So it's called an unstated main idea. So designing the creatures was only the first step. There was still the monumental task of building them. That means that building the models is a lot of work. And they went through all the steps, didn't they, in the story? There are lots of steps. He was happy to explain. The iguanodon, for instance, had teeth that were very similar to the teeth of an iguana. The iguanodon, then, must surely have looked like a giant iguana. Waterhouse pointed out that few iguanodon bones had helped determine the model's size and proportion, and another bone, almost a spike, most likely sat on the nose, like a rhino's horn. So what animal did Waterhouse think that the iguanodon looked like? Iguana is mentioned twice, so he must have thought the iguanodon looked like an iguana. Do you see how it got its name? And what evidence did he have? What did he use to make it seem like it looked like a giant iguana? That's right. He looked at the tooth. It was similar teeth to the teeth of an iguana. And so that's why he thought it looked like a giant iguana. It's the tooth that he based it on. All right, this one's a long one, so pay attention for me, okay? Waterhouse showed his guests the small model he had made, correct in every detail, from the scales on the nose to the nails on the toes. And with the help of his assistants, he formed the life-size clay figure and created molds for them. Then he erected the iron skeletons, built the brick foundations, and covered the whole thing in cement cast from the dinosaur-shaped molds. So if you were looking in the story and you read through all the 6 steps, this is the 6 steps. You start with a small clay-size model, and then you made a life-size clay model, and then you made a mold from the life-size model, and then you built an iron skeleton, and then you built the foundation and covered the whole thing in cement, and then you painted it, and you were done. So there are 5 or 6 steps, starting from the small model, working to the large model, then to the mold, to the skeleton, and then to the cement, okay? So keep that in mind for our question. It says, put these events in order, and putting things in order is called sequence. So what should come first? That's right. Waterhouse made molds, or Waterhouse made life-size clay figures. What comes first? Well, he started with the little model, but I don't see little model. So if we don't have the little model, we have to start with the life-size. Very good. This is the first one. Waterhouse made life-sized clay figures of the dinosaurs. After he made the clay figures, what did he make next? Let's go back and check. After he made the life-size clay figures, he created the molds. Which one's the molds? Here it is at the bottom. So 1, 2, what comes after the molds? The iron skeleton is next? No. The cement casts were next? Waterhouse made cement casts from the molds. See, the molds are there again. So this is number 3. So 1, he made life-size clay figures of the dinosaurs. 2, he made molds from the clay figures. 3, Waterhouse made cement casts from the molds. What did he do next? This one sticks with me because of the iron skeleton. He made iron skeletons for the dinosaurs. And last, he covered the skeletons with the casts. So one more time. Waterhouse first made life-size clay figures. Then he made molds from the clay figures. Then he made cement casts using the molds. Then he made iron skeletons. And then he covered the skeletons with the casts. He was happy to explain, this is my last one. He was happy to explain the iguanodon, for instance, had teeth that were similar to the teeth of an iguana. The iguanodon, then, must surely have looked like a giant iguana. Waterhouse pointed out that few iguanodon bones help determine the model's size and proportion. Another bone, more almost a spike, most likely sat on the nose, like a rhino's horn. Waterhouse was also making ancient reptiles and amphibians. While Richard Owen could imagine their shapes, it took an artist to bring the animals to life. Designing the creatures was only the first step. There was still the monumental task of building them. It says, find 2 words that are synonyms, words that mean the same as the adjective big. Ooh, I see one. How about giant? Does giant mean the same as big? Is something that's giant something I could also describe as big? Absolutely. What's the other one? Let's see. While Richard Owen could imagine their shapes, it took an artist to bring the animals to life. Nope, that's got nothing about size. Designing the creatures was only the first step. There was still the monumental task of building them. Oh, did you see it? What else means big? There it is. Monumental is another word for big. Good job, guys. So we got my 2 words that are synonyms. And that wraps us up for our comprehension today. Good luck, guys, and I will see you again later on.